Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the UNIBEN Alumni Series. It is a show where we celebrate alumni of the University of Benin, one of the greatest tertiary institutions in Nigeria. And on today's episode, we have a great man with us, a former student union president, former departmental head school at the Department of Physics as Physical Sciences, University of Benin. And today is the founder of Trace Technology in the United States. He also works with the Airforce in the United States. He's a man of different progressive endeavors. On today's show, we have engineer Osasere Osifo. And also, let me add this, he's the vice president of the University of Benin Alumni Association, North America branch. Thank you, Mr. President. I still call you Mr. President. The president, you always be. Thank you. Thank you
Uh,
for joining us today.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for having me. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
how is Ubana? How are things over there?
Yeah, Urbana is doing well. Things are going fine. We're moving on. Just taking things as they come. So everything is going well over here. Everything is going well.
That's great to hear. We'll start off with a celebratory note. Recently, you were awarded. You were recognized by the Department of Entrepreneurship at the University of Benin. You were given an award of pillar of support for entrepreneurship by the department, and I'm made to understand that this award is as a result of your contribution to the university through the Osasere Osifo Prize for Academic Excellence. First off, congratulations and thank you for your contribution. Thank you for always supporting your alma mater. I would like you to tell us about the Osasere Osifo Prize for Academic Excellence.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, and yeah, thank you for the congratulatory notes. Yeah, that was a good one. I also thank that the Department of Entrepreneurship for finding us worthy to just recognize the little work we're doing for the university. So the Osasere Osifo Academic Prize for Excellence is basically it's in its second year now. So in the next
Okay.
convocation set, it's going to be in its third year. So that was basically an initiative that because right from when I was in school, I tend to look what we have as prizes for students that are making waves, students that are graduating top of their classes, right? So I looked at that and I see there were quite a few, but it's always been a desire of me to see if I can also contribute in that endeavor. See what I can add, right, to that. So that was how that initiative came to be. We started it, I think, 2 years ago, and the first recipient was a young man from the Department of Pharmacy who did excellently well. So yeah, we gave him that prize. And this last convocation, we thought of expanding, right? So instead of so what we're trying to do now is, instead of just awarding the overall best graduating student in the University of Benin, we are looking at awarding the overall best from the Department of Physics, overall best from the Faculty of Physical Sciences, and then the overall best in the University of Benin. So this very last one that happened, one person happened to be the overall best in the Department of Physics. He was also the overall best in the Faculty of Physical
Physical
Sciences.
Sciences.
Then I
Okay.
think there was a little conflict between him and the guy from engineering on who was the overall best, right? But I think, yeah, so I don't know how that was finally resolved, but we did end up giving the prize to those two individuals.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the prize is overall best gets 500,000 naira from the scheme. Then the department is supposed to get 250. Best in the department will get 250, and the best in the faculty also gets 250. So this year, because that one was one person as well, so they both got 500,000 each. As just our own little way of acknowledging their hard work, because it's not easy, right? To graduate at the top of your class. It's a great, I think it's a great achievement, And we just want to encourage those recipients that, even though, because if you look at the society of today, our corporate body, the people who really have the resources to do more, right? They are more focused on promoting things that have to do with entertainment. And that's why you can
Mhm.
see when people go to Big Brother, they come out with,
Mhm.
huge and hefty prizes, right? But there is really
Yeah,
not a lot in the academic
the
side of it,
academic. Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
So,
agree.
so yeah, so those tokens was just little things we could do to say, yes, we see you. We see all the midnight candles you burn. Those things, they don't go to waste, right? Even when it looks like no one is noticing. We at the
Yeah.
Osasere Osifo Academic Prize Essence, we do notice. Just keep at it, right? Topping your class is often a good way to start out, especially in the professional field, right? When you go out there, that zeal that made you top your class, that passion, that ability for you to sit, right, to study and be the best can also help propel you to be the very best in your academic, in your professional life, right? So it's just that, that's what we're trying to instill by recognizing the efforts of these young men and women who burn the midnight candles to top, to come out with flying colors.
This is very highly commendable, and we thank you and your team for doing that. You have a Bachelor of Science degree in physics.
Correct.
Was physics your first choice of course when you decided to study at the University of Benin, or you had other ideas and the university gave you physics?
Absolutely. So yeah, in fact, prior to going there, I've not even. In fact, I was not even sure if physics was a course that people read honestly in the university. So
Okay.
physics was not in my agenda at all. It was not in my radar at all. Actually, it will surprise you to know that I was actually applying to study medicine. Not even
Oh, all right. I
not
should be
even engineering. So
yeah.
yeah, I wanted to study medicine. That was my first choice, and I think it was also my second choice, right? But as God will have it, and as because I mean, looking back, I think it's God's divine arrangement. Because
Okay.
sometimes we as humans think that we just think it's the way we see things, but God has a different plan, right? I'm
Mhm.
honestly happy that I studied
It
physics. I
turned
got
out this way.
everything
Yeah.
worked out, right? Because if I actually had gotten the medicine, I'm not even sure things would have worked out the way they did. So yeah, so
Yeah.
it was medicine, right? And I was surprised that because ideally, when you apply for medicine, if you're not sorry, when you apply for medicine,
But
if you're
yeah,
not giving medicine, you get thrown into things like
biology,
biology, biochemistry, all
microbiology.
the life science side of things. But I was
Yeah.
surprised in mine, I was thrown to physical sciences, right? Physics. Hey, what's the correlation? Most people you see in physics are people who wanted to study engineering,
Engineering. Yeah. Yeah.
physics. But yeah, so mine happened like that. Yeah, I was, as God will have it, the university redirected me to say, no, we're not giving you medicine. We think you do well in physics. So that's how I found myself in physics. And yeah, so when you get those things where you don't have a choice, right? I didn't want to be one of those persons who wants to continue to say it's going to be medicine or do or die, right? So I took what university gave me, and I,
So you did you write jam after that, or that was just it?
no, that was just it. Because prior to that, that was to get that pound they gave me physics was my fourth jam.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
you just
So
felt
yeah,
that
so I was not new. Yes, I
fun.
was not new to writing jam, right? So yeah, so I'm like, okay, this one is fine. Let's go ahead and let's get this thing knocked out. So yeah, so that was how you know,
Okay, no, that's nice. Um, let's talk about your time as SUG president. You were class rep for your class.
correct.
Yeah, you were ESCO for your department at one point or the other. Was
Yes,
that
correct.
the propelling force, or was that the motivation? You felt, okay, I've been able to lead my class. I've been part of an executive in the department. I think I can lead the students' union. Was that it, or there were other factors that motivated you to present yourself for such service?
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that question. So it was all part of it, but it was not central at all. I came to school. In fact, I got admission in University of Benin, wanting to be SUG president. So even
Mhm.
before being a departmental class rep, before being a departmental ESCO, I already came in with that goal in my mind that when I'm in 300 level, I'm going to contest for the position of SUG president. So it's because I had that larger goal in mind that even Immediately I came to school, I started bringing myself out there because there was already a larger goal that I
Yeah.
was. So that helped propel me out there. So that's why when we were on 500 LT, I was out there. Okay, I want to be the class rep of physics, right? That's a way to start. So I started there, moving to ESCO, become the PRO of the National Association of Physics Students. I think I also did SECGEN at one time for the association. Did certain things at the faculty, but it was, so I came into school with that realization that, and why did I mean, how did it even happen? Honestly, I don't even know. So coming into school, I've always, seen SUG presidents, what they do. It became something that I've come to admire.
Okay.
So during my during my matriculation,
Matriculation. Yeah.
so yeah, I think at that time it was Chinelo
Yeah. Yeah.
president. So we could see some of these things. It was just enticing. It was nice to see,
Yeah.
see that there you could be a student union leader, and you
Yeah.
could stand in the gap for students, right? When they have issues, you can come out for them, and so seeing all those things and everything, they further reinforced the desire I had that when I'm in 300 level, I am going to contest for the SUG, post of the SUG president. But how am I going to do it? I didn't know at that time. I didn't even. It was just a thought. It was just a desire. I didn't know if it was going
Okay.
to pass because I did not have the means. I did not have the resources. I did not have the connections. I had nothing. But what I had was just that belief, and that's why immediately I came to,
Mhm.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if a quote that became associated with me was never believe your doubt
That
and
was
never doubt your
never doubt to believe. Yeah, I can still
yeah.
remember. Yeah.
So yeah, so those who know me very well, because I stayed in Hall 4, those who know me in Hall 4 is when we came into school, when you start coming to Hall 4, you start seeing some inscription in the wall on the walls of Hall 4. Never believe your doubt, never doubt your belief. It's just various inscriptions. So people started seeing that, and then because I was in physics department, right? In physics, we sometimes we call ourselves quantized, because obviously we do things like quantum theory, things like that. So we started using those physics terms, right, to call ourselves
Yeah.
quantized. So I just started thinking, okay, what name would be unique that I think, might draw people's attention, So that was how I came up with quantized major. So when you come to the halls, you see a quote, you see quantized major, underneath that quote. So, so I started just kind of putting that everywhere. That was strategic. It was just me trying to use that to build publicity for myself 2 years before, because that
Okay.
was in me 100 level. I already had in mind that when I'm in this level, this is what I'm going to do. So I started just doing that, right? I mean, it didn't mean anything to a lot of people. People will see it, but subconsciously they didn't even know what that is,
Yeah.
because it was after I even became president. People knew that quantized
So
major. This
you're the one doing
I thought it
that.
was a church program. Oh, I thought it was a. So, different people were like, "How did I say this thing?" But I didn't know it was, So, yeah, so that was it for me, right? So I came into school just wanting to be, and I told myself that when I'm in 300 level, I'm going to be SUG president. Um, and God made it happen, right? So, God made it happen. The speaker,
Yeah.
my speaker, the Right Honorable Governor Ahmed, was
Yeah.
also, I think we also roommates at one time. I think governor also had same we
Ambition.
discussed it, right? Yes, governor also had same ambition to be a speaker, and it came
Okay.
from both of us, right? So yeah, there's power in, you see, there's power in tongue, right? If you believe, right, sometimes God comes through for you, right? So yeah, so everything I really did just coming in was to try and push myself to hit that goal of being president, right, at 300 level. So that was why,
Okay.
it was. I mean, before I got admission into school, even in my secondary school, been in, uh, I've been, all these class rep kind of things is just been a part of me, right? I was also fellowship president in my secondary school, so I've done. It was not new to me, right?
Yeah, the leadership was okay. Yeah.
Right, so
Yeah.
it was been part of me, and coming in and being able to just desire it, dream of it, and working towards it, and it came to pass. So that was
Okay.
basically it.
Yeah. Quickly, you mentioned you didn't have resources. You didn't have
Absolutely.
the resources that the campaigns or the electionary period would take. So how were you able to manage this? Because we all know what SUG election, we all know the resources it takes away from candidates.
Correct.
So how were you able to manage and get full resources together, both both financial and manpower? Because
Yes.
definitely you had a team, you had people who could stand in for you when you were not there. And also, how were you able to do all this?
So yeah, absolutely. So that's why I said earlier that God made it. God made it happen, right? Because when I had those desires, I had none of these things. But when the time came, right, God brought helpers, everybody, just my way, to kind of help me fulfill, to just help me become and fulfill that desire. So in terms of resources, I had no resources. But then what happened? We started moving out to solicit for funds, right? From, my dad helped me with some money. My some of my brothers helped me with some money. There was also a friend in school, that helped me with some money. Helped raise some funds. And then, we leveraged the power of connections, right? My classmates was really the backbone behind, right? Like moving around various halls of residence. And then I was also in the National Union of Benin Students. That was also my association. So National Union of Benin Students played a great role as well, in helping mobilize. So at the end of the day, resources, came from left, right, center, things I did not even expect, right? So
Yeah,
it was just so surreal how everything came to be, so
yeah.
anyway, when it appeared like there was going to be no way. So so yeah, when I
Yeah.
look back, I just continue to thank God and marvel at how he made that happen.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Your tenure was adjudged or is adjudged as one of the longest in the lifespan of years. You spent over 18 months. I don't know if I'm correct. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. But because of obviously because of the ASU strike as at then, what can you say was your biggest challenge during that time, during this over 18 months lifespan of your executive? What's the biggest challenge you faced as SUG president?
So we faced lots of challenges while in office, while in position. But yeah, during that period of ASU strike, I think one of the biggest challenges was, seeing what role we can play if they can make even any impact in possibly bringing that strike to an end. Because to be honest, like you said, I still hold that record, right? Being one of the longest serving presidents. It got to
Yeah,
a point whereby we got really tired, and we were looking forward to leave school and just move on with life, because that
yeah,
strike, it held everybody back, and we couldn't really do anything. So it was really a challenging period, especially as we couldn't do much, to see, to possibly force the hands of the federal government to see, what they could do. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to work with NANS to see, okay, what kind of action can the whole student body, right? Not just University of Benin alone, because this was a federal action, all
yeah,
schools, especially within the South. What can we do as, a student body to see what pressure we can exert on the federal government at that time to bring that strike to an end? But yeah, there was no coordination. So we couldn't really do much, and that was one of the big challenge, because, we were there as president, we were just as a union, and we're just basically waiting. When it looked like you're powerless against certain things. So because that was not within our power, we're trying to work with the larger NASA organization to bring that impasse to an end. And at the end of the day, all we did was just to wait before anything could occur. So that was really a challenging moment, because it was a strike we did not plan, neither did we account for.
yeah.
And it set a lot of students back in their academic journey. Also, we as well, we couldn't leave school, because, I mean, obviously we were supposed to graduate, I think, 2012, but yeah, the strike.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, it was definitely, yeah, that was one of the challenges we faced among many, many challenges that we did face as
Okay. Yeah.
unions.
Stay on your time as SUG president. What can you say was your biggest achievement? Because obviously,
So
when you were coming on board, you had manifesto, you had
absolutely.
you outlined things that you you wanted to do for the student, for the university community. So when you left, what can you say was, okay, this was my biggest achievement?
Absolutely. So yeah, my government, I was blessed to, to have a very competent executive team members. We did achieve a lot collectively as a government. So I think one of my biggest accomplishments is if you go to June 12th today, there's a building. There's a building right at the side of the June 12th. We didn't finish that building, but we took that building to at least 80% completion. So that building was not our initiative. It was initiative of the previous government. I think that was the government of Orogun who
Okay.
conceived that idea. So when we came on board, the goal was to build that, to take that
What
building.
was the building for? What was the building
So it was
for?
going to be a student building. It was going to be for the students, right? University of Benin.
Okay.
We were going to build. It was going to be like an ultra modern complex for them. So
Okay.
one of the things we did within the limited time in power was to take that building to at least 80% completion, and hoping that hopefully government that come before us will be able to go ahead and complete that building. That was just one. We had lots of achievement as well. Number one, so in my time as University of when I was SUG President, there was an increase
Yeah.
in fees.
Okay.
So that time we were able to fight the reduction in school fees. So when the school fees increment first came out, I think it was about, if I remember correctly, it was over a 50% increase. If I remember
Okay.
correctly, right? So we were able to fight that increase and bring it down to just a little over 10% in increase, right? So that was a great achievement. But at that time, a lot of people didn't see it that way. A lot of people, there was one thing about student unionism. Sometimes students feel that it's until you shut down everywhere, until you close the
Yeah.
game, you shut down everywhere, there's no movement, that's when you've made a statement.
Mm-hmm.
This style is quite different. I believe
Yeah.
in diplomacy, and that's why we have the 3 C's, right? We consult, right? We don't just we are not that brand of student that just goes to the street and lock down everything, right? We start with consultation. We employ the concept of dialogue, right? If dialogue does not get you anywhere, that's where we show our Aluta strength and our Aluta spirit. And we did have the opportunity to show a lot of that while I was in office as president. So at that time, when that school fees was increased, right, we had series of meetings with the school leadership, right, and we're able to bring the school fees that was increased down substantially, right, and that was another great achievement that we had in office. Also, then we also had the SUG market that
Yeah.
was being led by my director of welfare, Okwonga Osareme. The SUG market, the goal of that market was to make foodstuff, price of food commodities accessible to the students in the university. So instead of, because at that point students were being charged exorbitantly, so what we'll do is the welfare will go out to the various markets, bringing the market women onto June 12th, and then students were able to buy things at a much
Right.
more subsidized price. So that was
Mm-hmm.
another great achievement of my government. Also, another thing we did was we did have a task force that go about ensuring that the drivers around that drives around campus was not charging more than they should charge for students. So when we were in office, you can't even try that, because if you do,
Yeah.
there's going to be a problem. Likewise, the people that sells pure water, food at the main gate, right? We also had our task force in place that ensured that they were following the prescribed price for every items. Likewise, the booker as well. So, a lot of this, right? We were very student centric. Our
Yeah.
focus was ensuring that uh, no one was taking advantage of the students, whether be it management, be it external people from outside, or anybody. So
Yeah.
yeah, so there was a lot. Also as well, I remember a time we did work with Fidelity Bank. My director of sports, by another very competent guy as
Yeah.
well. We did have lots of what's it called?
Life
Hosting,
matches.
live
Yeah.
matching,
Is
the Hall of Excellencies, something that has not been done before. Another very big achievement is today, if you go to June 12th, there's an ATM in June 12th.
yeah. Yes.
That
Yes.
ATM was the handwork of my government. we worked with the bank, Fidelity Bank, to bring that ATM to fruition, to make sure we gave them, say, okay, we want an ATM here to, make sure students come,
Accessibility.
accessibility, right, funds for students. So, all these and a lot more I can't even begin to recall, right? We're all a lot of good achievement that
Yeah.
we put in place for students while I was
Uh,
talking.
kudos to you and your team. And with benefit of hindsight, is there anything that you felt, if you were still president today, that you'll be able to correct or you improve upon? Is there something that you look back and said, I wish I've done this other way?
True. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, yeah. Like, I think, for the benefit of hindsight,
Yeah,
one thing I possibly would have done. So when we were in government, it's not peculiarly unique to us. Most SUG administrations, most
yeah,
governments, there's always fighting and infighting within the ESCOs, right? And my government was not different from that. So in hindsight, right, that was one thing I personally would have ensured I mean, I was lucky as well. We didn't have much of that as, maybe some other government as well, right? Today we're all good pals and all. But in hindsight, those are some of the other things I should have a more good handle on, right? Ensuring that the government started as one, finished as one. Even though we did, but within some of the like we spent over a year in office, right? Within the other time, there was one or two issues here and there. So yeah, so you know, in hindsight, it's kind of ensuring that we always keep your government together.
your team together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Yeah, your life in University of Benin has been mostly about service. As class rep, as departmental head school, as SUG president. Did you have time? Were you able to create time for fun, to have fun in the university? What kind of fun? If you did, what kind of fun did you engage in while as a student? Because
Well,
as SUG president, most times you don't have time for yourself. You are being called upon, even in town, for different things, for meetings. Even as class rep, everyone calls you. Everyone wants to get updates about classes. The lecturers, they want your input on things. So were you able to create time to have fun for yourself?
interesting. So, being in fact, to answer that point blank, no, I don't think I had the time to have fun on a personal level. The most fun we could have was when we go to town on Aluta issues to solve people's problems. Those were struggles, but they were fun, and we liked engaging in those fun. So we had multiple Aluta issues, struggles, right? That I would say,
Yeah.
okay, was fun, right? So there was a time whereby I should be at the police station, right? That I think we got reports of our students, being held at that station, right? We
Yeah.
put ourselves in the Aluta bomb, and those movements when you move on those SUG convoy, right? Just to go release students. Those are the fun. I can't remember the countless time we were in BDPA to release students, right? There was also a time that what's it called? The university wanted if you know the main gate, the way main gate is, right?
Yeah.
That used to be occupied by the touts. Well, I won't just call it that was the driver motors, but they started, they started, let's just say use the word touts, right? Because they had some of those in their midst, even though it was a driver motor association. And the university wanted those guys to leave the main gate at that time, right? And I think, so it was a problem. The university could not evacuate them. And the university came to us to say, we can't evacuate these guys. What can you guys do? Right. So we told the university, leave them for us. We will handle it. Right. And we met these guys and, met with their leadership, discussed with them, gave them why that they need to exit that place, because it was, number one, it became a risk to students,
Yeah.
within their environments, all the activities and all. So, when the day we went to evacuate those people, we got there, they wanted to fight with us. And, when we started our Luta things, block the roads and all that stuff, they had no choice than to leave. In fact, many of them when we got into action. So in the process of doing those things, when you are invoking the Aluta spirits to achieve your aim, those are the fun I can really say, okay, because it was in the process of doing the job. But yeah, personal fund, there was not really a lot,
No.
because like he said, where was the time? There was really not a lot of time. In fact, as SUG president, my classes, I don't even think, in fact, my classes took a big hit, because I was not even you would not necessarily see me in all the classes I ought to have been. I would miss some. I would miss some because I'm either here, I'm either there, my attention is needed here. So it was a lot, but we're still able to at least come back, meet with classmates, see what was missed, and try to see what we can do. So yeah, there was no really time for personal fun per se, but we did have a lot of fun, doing the work, right? Especially when we take struggles to town, or try to go free students that have been arrested, or try to engage in some Aluta activities. Yeah, so those
Okay.
are what I would consider as the fun part.
Yeah. Today, you are part of your many endeavors. You are chairman of board of directors of the Nigerian Diaspora Youth Coalition. What did you take outside leadership? Because obviously, leadership is one of the key things you took away from the University of Benin with your several portfolios you have held and you are still holding. I can say leadership is one of the things you took away from the University of Benin. What are the other things you took away from the institution?
Mm. So other things I took out of decision, I would say character outside leadership. Character, because University of Benin molds you not just to be competent, or not just to be a good student, right? They
Yeah.
mold you in character, they mold you in learning, you know. So University of Benin made me who I am today, you know, point blank. If I had not attended University of Benin, to be sincere and to be frank, I don't know where I would have been. But if I had not attended University of Benin, there's one thing that's certain. It means that I will not be where I am today, to be honest, because my trajectory in life, my progression, started immediately I got into University of Benin, and everything I have become since then was all what University of Benin imbibed into me. So what did I take away? Outside leadership, I took away good, strong character, character of purpose, right? Because University of Benin teaches you that. Now it's two things, right? You can go through school, and school can go through you. So some people can just go and just breeze through school. It's a different thing. But if you
Yeah.
go through school and the school goes through you, you get molded,
Yeah.
right? You get molded into different things. So yeah, that was me. That's my own story. So University of Benin molded me in character, it molded me in leadership, it molded me in foresight. Foresight, ability to sit down and not just think immediately for now, but think for tomorrow. you know Ability to think ahead, or because I see most of the problem a lot of people we have, especially in Nigeria, is that we're not too far-sighted. A lot of people are thinking of the very immediate. We're not looking at what happened 5 years from now, what happened 10 years from now, what happened 15 years from now. So being in the University of Benin gave me that ability to really project and plan for times ahead. So yeah, so there was a lot of takeaways, right? Character. So that
Yeah.
was one principal thing I took away from the University of Benin.
You run a cybersecurity firm in the US, coupled with the fact that you are the vice president of the University of Benin Alumni Association, North American branch. Can there be any arrangement for your firm? I know you are big on giving back. I know what you've been doing and what you're going to do. But as Oliver Twist will continue to ask for more.
Yeah.
Can there be an arrangement between your firm and maybe the ICT unit of the university where we can train and retrain both staff and students of the institution so they will gain modern knowledge, advanced knowledge about cybersecurity, and they can also retrain others, can teach others? Can there be any arrangements like that?
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot,
No, no,
but
no, no, no.
I know you can do something about that.
Absolutely. Like as I was telling one of the University of Benin staff, that I am always thinking of ways to see how we can, give back to University of Benin, how we can help anywhere we can. Before I come to the issue of using like my firm Stress Technologies, I also say on the Urbana side,
Yes.
there was a time that Urbana as an organization we were working to facilitate artificial intelligence learning at the University of Benin. So
Okay.
that was an effort, right? That was on the way, right? So it's still, I think that effort, although it looks like it's a little delayed, but it's still an effort that will likely come to
Can be
fruition in the near future.
yeah, can be
So
revisited. Yeah.
yes, so we're always looking for ways to give back to our alma mater, right? Ways to help improve things, ways. So yeah, absolutely. That's definitely something that we can do as soon as we are able to, right? We'll be able to reach out and see what we can do on that front. But as soon as we are able to, and as soon as the situation allows us to, definitely something we will do for sure.
On a very last note, we know that the UBANA, the University of Benin Alumni Association in the North America, you always have this annual ritual, the reunion that you do every year. What's the plan for this year?
Yeah, thank you very much. So, like you said, it's definitely an annual ritual. It's been going on for the last 18 years, right? So, even right from when I joined the association, it's something I meant that yes, every year, all alumni of University of Benin, North America, come together, right, to meet, to network, to discuss, and to just catch up with each other, plan ahead, for what we can do for the university, also network amongst ourselves as individuals, so it's been a great experience for me since I joined. When I joined in Urbana, it's been a great experience for me. It's annual tradition we do this year. We have it coming up July 25th to 28th. Let me
Okay.
confirm the date. Yeah, July think it's 25th. Yeah, July 25th, 28th, and that's going to be happening in Philadelphia. So
Okay.
the city of
Okay.
brotherly love, Philadelphia will be hosting. It's their turn to host the entire University of Benin alumni body,
Okay.
to this 18th annual reunion. So if you're listening to me, you're an alumni out there in North America, do well to go to the website ubana.org. You can
Okay.
get more information about it, book your tickets, and we'll be happy to see you at the reunion.
Oh, thank you very much. And hopefully we have the electricity issues we have in the university. Please, can that be at the front burner of your discussion during the reunion, please?
Absolutely. So the VC always join us, right? So we'll be
Yeah.
fortunate that I think the last 3 or 4 reunion, our VC, Professor Salami, has not missed it. So we're hopeful she will join us again this very one. Yes, some of these challenges, yeah, it's something we'll be discussing, with the university, and and as an alumni body, we can see what we can do, ways we can come in, to also support the university in this endeavor.
Thank you very much. We know you're a man of your words. Thank you very much, Engineer Osasere Osifo. Good speaking to you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll be speaking with Engineer Osasere Osifo, the Vice President of the University of Benin Alumni Association North America branch, former Student Union President of the University of Benin. We've had a great time with him. He has discussed a lot of things, especially his time as SUG President. Continue to subscribe to our channel. We'll bring you quality interviews about alumni of the great University of Benin. Bye for now.